let's get this called meeting to order for Commissioners Court for August 13th, 2024. Polk County Regional Health Building, Suite A. If you have not already done so, then please turn off or mute all your cell phones and other devices. At this time, we'd like to ask Wendell Mitchell of Livingston Church of Christ to lead us in prayer.
What an august assembly we have today. Let's go. Our Father, we're thankful for the blessing of life. We're thankful for the blessing of self-government, especially in these precincts. We recognize the right of our people to seek redress when they have a problem. We pray that you would help us all to understand that if we maintain civility and good order, that this is advantageous to us, and righteousness exalts people. We pray, Father, especially in view of the fact that we've had an assassination attempt on one of our national candidates, that you bless us with peace and tranquility. We see that, and we pray that you bless the Republicans and Democrats, all candidates that are running for office, and help us to recognize that all these people have families and that we should treat them with respect. Help us this day, we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. I have some people that have completed a participation form. Do you wish to do this? I have a few people that, if you would like to speak and public comment, you're welcome to. If you,
We're having trouble hearing. If you could speak up, please, ma'am.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, we have people that have signed up for the participation form. If you wish to address the court through public comment, you can do so. If you wish to wait for the hearing, then you can do so as well. Does anybody wish to speak during public comment, or do you want to wait till the public hearing? We're going right straight into it. Yes, ma'am, you need to step up here where the microphone will pick you up. And your name?
Nina McAfee. Thank you for the opportunity to address your court today. I'm Nina McAfee. I'm the president of Yopon Cove POA, and I'm representing the property owners of Yopon Cove. Mainly, I'm here today to speak of the deplorable road conditions in Precinct 2 and specifically in Yopon Cove, and to submit to the Commissioner's Court and to the Precinct 2 Commissioner a petition to get the county roads in Yopon Cove repaired immediately. The fact that only 2 roads have been repaired and maintained since the damage caused by the 2020 tornado is inexcusable. We have roads that literally look like they've been bombed. You can look at pictures of Ukraine, they look like our roads. The roads are no longer asphalt, but dirt, chunks of asphalt, and holes. We have street signs that have not been corrected and rehung. This presents a safety issue when calling emergency services. And we have drainage ditches that no longer drain, but during the hurricane actually flooded homes in the middle of our neighborhood, not by the creek, but by the lake. During the tornado, these drainage ditches were filled in and never cleaned back out. To be honest with you, the Commissioner's Court has approved and expended over $12 million on restoration projects, and yet the citizens paying taxes, we can't get our basic needs met. It's time for money to be redirected to road and infrastructure improvements instead of projects like the historic county renovation, the Polk County Annex renovation, a memorial museum in the new renovated courthouse, purchasing a lot and building adjacent to the historic courthouse for future expansion, almost $1 million in change orders last month on the renovation. A county museum we spend $70,000+ a year on, instead of this being funded by donations and volunteer efforts. This is just simply ridiculous. We can't get our roads fixed, but we have a county museum that we're funding. After reviewing the budgets, it's clear that pet projects and museums can be funded, but our road can't. I want to remind the court that Yopon Cove has over 500 homes and residents. We vote, and we're gonna be voting strongly in the next election. Thank you. And I have the petition for Mark Dulos.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. I think everyone else is going to bring the hearing. Very well. Number 3, informational reports. Any elected official or department head wishing to present information can do so at this time. At this time, we do have a report from the Healthy County Committee regarding wellness strategy and county-specific incentive programs. The Healthy County Committee is pleased to report that we now have the necessary form for employees to present to their doctor to receive 8 hours of time off for completing the annual checkup. Ashley Curitan Whitfield from TAC will join us for the September Wellness Meeting on September 18th. And following the meeting, she will host 3 wellness classes for any interested employees that wish to work on any of their health issues that are occurring. Participation in these classes will count towards their participation metrics, which are used to calculate our rebates on the overall cost of our insurance and our overall wellness goals. And here today for that is Nicole.
Maureen, you pretty much hit all of my points. Our initiative is up and running. Qualifying annual exams from January 1st through the remainder of this year will earn their little get out of work card for 1 day to use in 2025. Our wellness committee meets every 3rd Wednesday of the month, and each department should try to have somebody here just to kind of hear what's going on and what we're trying to implement. Ashley from TAC will be here September 18th. I believe most of her classes are going to be on either. If you have questions about what we have going on with Blue Cross Blue Shield health-wise and creating a positive workplace. She's gonna do that class 3 different times so employees can rotate in and out.
Sounds good.
That's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, item number 4, public hearing to discuss and consider abandoning maintenance of county roads within the city limits of Alaska. What time is it, Madam Clerk? 10:08. Okay, first of all, I asked, could the term abandoning be removed, but that is a legal term that legal counsel has told us must be used. The purpose of this hearing is to correct the map and to make sure that city streets are city streets, not county roads or county streets. So that's the purpose of this hearing. So the maintenance of city streets falls under the jurisdiction of city government, while county roads are maintained by the county. So after thorough review and consideration of Local Government Code 43.106, the Texas Transportation Code, Chapter 251, the General County Authority relating to roads and bridges, and Chapter 791 of the Texas Government Code, which is interlocal cooperation and contracts, the current commissioner has determined that it would be more appropriate for these roads to revert to city maintenance for several reasons. This is not a new conversation. This conversation has been ongoing. So, because jurisdictional responsibilities for things within the city fall within the authority of the city. The county should not be infringing on the city's area, and we should not be infringing on the city's authority. So let me give you some examples. So we need to return these roads to city maintenance, which allows, there's a reason why you have city limits, and that's to delineate where the authority of the city begins and where the authority of the county begins. That does not mean that the county, all of these commissioners, well, probably not Commissioner Cassidy, but all of these commissioners participate in agreements to assist or to do work for the city. However, we do not own the roads or the streets inside any other city other than on Alaska. So that the maintenance, the map for where the delineation of authority occurs needs to reflect that. It doesn't mean that we are not going to continue to participate in interlocal agreements or MOUs. So, by statute, when this court realizes that we have erred in some direction, it doesn't matter if it occurred originally 30 or 40 years ago, okay? It doesn't matter. When we realize that we have erred, then it is our statutory obligation to correct that. So let me give you some examples of things that have occurred. First of all, I became aware of it when it came on the listserv. So I sent it to all the commissioners for them to review. Then, in March of 2023, I communicated with the city of Onalaska, because it was not just the city of Onalaska that we needed to look at. It's also some of these oil field roads and logging roads and things like that that are not county roads. But people were going out there buying property with the expectation that they would be receiving county maintenance. But how are they gonna get utilities if they're crossing someone's private property? Well, they're not. So we had to clarify the outlying areas, and we had to clarify on Alaska. So this is what happens with clarity of ownership. With clarity of ownership, which is what a city street is, it belongs to the city. Again, it doesn't mean that we're not gonna cooperate and assist and have MOUs and interlocal agreements. We have one right now. We have an interlocal agreement right now that we are coordinating debris management inside the city limits of Onalaska and the entire surrounding area. Okay, so what that means is that we're correcting ownership. We're correcting it to coincide with the city limits. The county has no authority to infringe. It would be like the sheriff showing up and telling the police department, hey, get out of the way. I can handle this for you. He has no authority. Okay? So, we can continue with the interlocal agreements. The other thing that has occurred is our map does not line up with TxDOT. The TxDOT map is different than the county map because we have roads and streets inside the city limits of Onalaska. TxDOT does not recognize those as being ours. Why? Because they're inside the city limits. They're outside of our jurisdiction. Okay? The other thing that occurs, and this question came up in the tornado. During the tornado, this came up, is who has jurisdiction here? If the road says it belongs to the county, but it's inside the city limits, then who has jurisdiction? Who has ownership? See, so part of it is to correct some of those. I can tell you right now that our instructions to emergency management were that any damage that occurred within the city limits, my road, your road, nobody's road, any damage that occurred within the city limits that becomes eligible for FEMA funding will go to the city of Onalaska because it is inside the city limits. So all we're trying to do is clarify the map and make sure that our map and our responsibilities line up correctly with the city and what should be the city's responsibilities. We are not saying in any form or fashion that we are not going to continue to discussions about MOUs, about exchanging labor, materials, whatever these guys do, because I do not get involved with that. But state and federal agencies, it has to be very, very clear who's in charge, whose responsibility it is, and whose ownership it is. When they see city limits, then they think city limits. Right here, the mayor, or the city manager, or the council, or whoever their emergency management person, right here, their responsibility starts. And right here, the county's responsibility stops. So that's what we're trying to do. All the money for the April floods, whether it says county maintained or not, is inside the city limits of Onalaska, and those FEMA dollars will go to the city of Onalaska for those decisions to be made. The other thing too is, what if you have infrastructure under the road that is county maintained and we don't know about it? If it gets damaged, then whose responsibility is it?
You call before you dig.
No, if they are maintaining a road, they are not digging, and nevertheless, you're back to the same thing.
That
That,
happens all the time at my house. Please take care of it.
sir, you're welcome to come up here and comment whenever we call your name, okay? Okay, so we have to delineate where one starts and where one stops. And we are out of compliance with the state, we're out of compliance with TxDOT, we're out of compliance with FEMA and federal and state agencies. So that is why the court and the city is correct, we received the letter, and the city is correct, this court and previous courts before us accepted some of those streets, we did, that's, we're not denying that, we're simply saying that now it needs to be corrected. And again, it doesn't mean that we're gonna continue to participate in assisting or in trying to assist the people in the city of Onalaska any way we can. Because we're gonna do that anytime it is advantageous for one, and it's gonna be advantageous for all of us, which includes emergency management, it includes road and bridge, it includes our health department, it includes everything. Okay, so we have several people from Ridge Landing. Do you all wish to pick a representative, or does everybody want to speak?
We will speak individually.
Okay, very well, then let's start with Gracie.
Good morning, thank you for allowing us to speak this morning. I'm speaking on behalf of myself. I'm just a resident in Bridgeview Landing. Our roads were made by the company who built our area. It was not made by the city. Then the subdivision had a POA. They created a POA. The POA brought the roads up to the county's specs. And then there were, I'm sorry, I got nervous.
You're good, you're good.
In front of people. And then they were brought up to specs, and then they were approved. But so our roads have never been city roads. Now, we do pay taxes, $1,680,000 went to the roads for precinct 2 this year, just from Onalaska alone. Our roads have always been maintained by the district. And now for you guys to decide to abandon us, that brings us back to being private roads, not city roads. We have never been a city road. We
Okay.
would then have to petition to become city roads. In the meantime, we're stuck by ourselves.
Okay, so let's talk about that. What is the process for ensuring that because you are within the city limits and your roads are to specs, then maybe we need to have a conversation with the city about what the process needs to be for this.
I do agree that that conversation needed to be had before this meeting. This all needed to be arranged before this meeting, not dump all of us residents in the middle of limbo with not knowing what's gonna happen to us.
And ma'am, what we're advised to do is to correct the and then go road by road, piece by piece,
Why couldn't it
communicating
have
with the
been
city.
done before this? Because in the meantime,
Okay.
we're all gonna be stuck with no assistance to our roads. If a hurricane happens, if a storm happens,
Then your
we're
money
stuck
is
by
going to
ourselves.
go to the city of Onalaska.
And our
Because
tax
they're inside
dollars
the-
will go back to the city of Unalaska for them to take care of the roads?
Ma'am, the city of Unalaska has become a taxing entity unto itself.
So they will have to additionally tax us, but you will keep the current funds. There are
Yes,
in
ma'am, the
district.
county funds stay with the county, just like the school district funds stay with the school
Very,
district.
very clear. Okay, so if we were to de-annex, you would still have to take care of our roads. Because this is what you're forcing us to do.
I can't answer that, because I do not know.
No answers for that. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Again, I will address you one thing though, as far as, what you've done before. I will tell you this, that, the city mayor and manager and some of the councilmen, were aware of the situation about a year ago, so they've had plenty of, and an opportunity to resolve it before now.
Would everyone please speak up when they're talking? It's very hard to hear.
Yes, ma'am, we'll make every effort. Thank you.
So, Mark, are you saying the city already knew about,
Yes,
is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
The city didn't even get a phone call that this was gonna be on the agenda.
Angie, I sent an email to you all
In March
in
of
March,
last year,
and I discussed it.
for-
If you wanna come up here, then you're certainly welcome to.
Good morning, thank you. With all due respect, we were aware that,
Okay, can you speak up? so-
when, we were aware when Commissioner Dubose came into office that this was going to be a priority. He's made it very clear that, he did not feel it was his responsibility to take care of city streets. It is not your responsibility to take care of city streets, I agree. The problem that we have and face is that Twin Harbors, Bridgeview, a lot of the subdivisions have private roads. They've never been dedicated to the city. So, once they brought their roads up to standard, the Commissioners Court legally accepted those roads. Just because you've not decided, maybe the processes, y'all learned a different process, but to abandon them is automatically gonna go back to private. That is my understanding. I am not a lawyer and it's convoluted at best. I am not a public speaker. I apologize, I'm nervous. This is, I don't want my citizens to think that I've just been sitting on this. We have been working on an ordinance to come up with a means of ways to accept the streets. We are aware of that. That is something that has not been finalized by my council, but we are in the process. And it gives them an opportunity to come in and petition to become part of the city. But there are things that have to happen. You have to have the voters, they have to have a say in bringing all this extra cost to the city. These are not things, you can't just go in and take a private road. There's public hearings, there's processes. And so there's no way that we can just automatically accept all this at one time. So it's gonna, just like they're telling you, it's gonna take time.
And Angie,
But
we
I
are
don't
more than
want
willing to be part of that process and assist in the transition.
And that's why we're asking
We
this
just
to be
need to
tabled until
correct-
we learn a little bit more.
And that's fine, but right now, we just need to correct the map. We need to get those city limits delineated correctly, and we are more than happy to be part of the conversation, to be part of the transition, and do whatever needs to be done to take care of your residents and everybody else's. That's not a problem at all.
I just don't, I haven't just been sitting on information. We were as surprised as anyone to see this on the agenda. I would not have seen it had Linda Eckert not put it on Facebook. It's just one of the things, and that's probably my own fault for not following the postings well enough, but,
And that's fine, we will work on it.
all right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, K4.
Hi, my name is Kate Ford. I'm with Bridgeview Subdivision. I'm the president of the PLA. Thank you for letting me address the board today. Much of the stuff that I had questions on that I've got written down, you kind of answered some of that for me, so thank you for that. I think for us, we have spent a tremendous amount of money that came directly from our property owners. It was not part of their POA dues. It was funds that we asked them to come up with through special assessments
to pay to get these roads up to county standards. So as you can imagine, it's a hard pill for us to swallow when we see that you're going to abandon our roads.
And that's why that term, to me, is like,
Yes, so you can imagine when everybody saw that, we were
Yes,
like, oh my God.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
anyway, so hopefully we can all work together to get this to where it needs to be. And that's all we're asking. The main things I have right now is I have some road work that needs to be done. Where do I go and what do I do? Do I go to Mark and tell him I've got something that needs to be repaired now, or what do I do?
I think that's a conversation that you need to have with Commissioner Dubus. And then we will work with the city on the transition
Okay. My other assumption is, once it's all lined out, whether it goes to city or county maintains it or whatever, will we receive something in writing with this new policy, procedure, whatever it is, outlining to us exactly what we need to do? I mean, right now, if I need something, I know I go to Mark, but if it goes to the city, who do I go to?
And we will sit down with the city and come up with that conversation, and we will be part of participating and helping them get the information out.
I mean, as long as the two teams are gonna work together and do what's most beneficial to the citizens of Alaska is all we're asking you to do.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, Michael Lofton.
Well, I'm not a lawyer either. So, and I'm from East Texas, so abandonment and all these words do not make a whole lot of sense to me, but I just wanna know what's gonna happen to our roads when all this takes place. Who's gonna fix our roads? That's my question.
And that's what the conversation will occur with the city to figure out what the transition is going to look like. Any damages that occurred from the weather events, from the April weather, all those monies will go to the city of Onalaska, because those roads are inside the city limits of Onalaska.
Well, no, like Kay said, we took up a special assessment to pay for the material. The county came out and there's a spot between my neighbor and myself, and it lasted about 3 months. And every time somebody hits it, it sounds like a bomb going off. But I just didn't know who's gonna fix our roads. I don't know if the county, who we talked to. I mean, I know Mark and,
We'll visit with Mark, and we will figure out what the transition period is going to look like. So visit with the commissioner, and we will figure out what the transition period is gonna look like. And we will coordinate with the city on how to move forward.
Okay, with the transition and all this, I mean, if we need a problem, who do we go to if we have a problem? We go to the city or do we go to Mark?
You're going to end up going to the city.
Okay.
Right now, if you've been in communications with Commissioner Dugos, then communicate with him.
Well, I haven't really gone to him with a problem because I have Kay. And Carl.
There you go, okay.
But I just wanna know, I mean,
No, I understand.
we're taxpayers too, so.
Yes, sir, absolutely you are.
Okay.
Thank you. Carl Cruz. Carl, you've got K too.
Yes, she's our president, and she's a very good president. We've had this agreement, it goes all the way back to Bobby Smith. And
Yes, sir.
everything is who started it. From day one, Mark has said, he didn't want working there. And right now, we've got potholes. It was Ronnie and Bobby, whenever they wasn't doing big work, they'd come around with a pothole crew, patch potholes in there. We've got some potholes right now that hadn't been fixed in a while. And I understand, this is just getting a little personal, but I understand that the potholes fixed down to his house was just fixed the other day, and it stopped just past his driveway. I don't know, that's something that don't know. But also, whenever fire trucks, ambulances come into your subdivision, if they have to dodge potholes to get in there, that is a safety issue, like the real punch code lady brought up. But one thing in all this here city and county,
it's a lot of the excuses have been where you're a private subdivision. Are we a private subdivision, or are we a county subdivision, or are we a city subdivision? We are a private subdivision that the county accepted the roads in.
Yes, sir. And now you're inside the city limits and.
No, this happened while we were in the city also.
Yes, sir, and I understand.
Jean Ann, whenever she was mayor, she got us into the city years ago. We've had several mayors since then.
Yes, sir. And you are correct, it did start with Bobby Smith. That is when it started, but now we need to correct it.
Okay, the waterfront subdivisions, like us, the waterfront properties, we pay $3,000 to $3,200 appraisal foot. For every foot of property we have on the water, it's $3,000 to $3,200. But if you're gonna take away the county money from coming in our subdivision and doing anything, are y'all gonna give us a refund on that money?
He is not gonna be able to count it as his mileage. So when we do the allocation, then he will not be able to count that as his mileage.
So it would be the city's mileage?
Yes, ma'am, it's inside the city limits, so it will become the city.
Yeah.
But when we do the allocation for county tax dollars, well then, it's based on a percentage, based on the mileage that they're responsible for. And so, he will not be able to count that as his mileage anymore. It will more closely resemble the tech stop mileage.
According to the text of law, it says I can get the claim mileage as is. because
Period.
They fall within the city limits, so.
Well, you know, from the day one that you got in there, you started talking about you couldn't do this in there because of this. We didn't have that problem with the other.
It's because I follow the law.
Okay,
Well, are you more of a
let's,
policeman?
Mr.
Here's the deal. All these people up here are elected by the people, and y'all are there to serve the people in Polk County.
Yes, sir.
That's what you should be doing. Your number one priority is to serve the people. If not, you need to get out of office. That's one way or the other. And, I've also, are you a policeman or are you a commissioner? I've heard it.
Okay, Mr. Cruz, could we stick to the ordinance?
Well,
And
it all bears on it though. If he's doing a proper job out there, he should be doing the commissioner. 100% of his time should be, he's elected by the people to serve the people out there. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, sir. Okay, John Dana, is that the correct pronunciation?
Dana.
Dana?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me here and having this meeting, allowing me to talk. My name is John Dana. I'm the president of Twin Harbors Property Owners Association. First, I want to thank the county in the past for helping us with our roads. We have many roads that are still private, and the county, as we have fixed those roads up with our own funds, have adopted those roads. I understand now that due to state law and other laws that you're going to have to, as the legal word is, abandon those roads. My concern is that it appears that there hasn't been a very smooth transition and conversation between the county and the city. I don't know what the political issues are between the county and the city. I don't care, quite frankly. Whatever personal issues are going on or whatever, you guys need to talk, okay? You can't just drop your residents from services that we've been having and still need and suddenly say, sorry, go talk to somebody else, okay? Our subdivision takes up special assessments, just like other subdivisions do, to maintain our roads. We've recently done some emergency repairs because people were losing oil pans and damaging their cars. We've spent our own money. We spent every cent of our special assessments trying to get these roads safe for our residents and for emergency vehicles. Okay, now suddenly, not just suddenly, we've been told over this last year that, county's not gonna be able to help us. They have helped us recently, and I appreciate that, Mark. But what I'm not seeing is a transition between the county and the city. And I don't care if it's the county not talking to the city or the city not talking to the county. I don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but it needs to happen. Again, we're more than happy to spend money on our roads, and we do. We collect up to $50,000 to $75,000 a year to help maintain our roads. And we're gonna spend our own money to get this done. But we have to have somebody to talk to and go to, and suddenly now, it's like mommy saying, go talk to dad, dad, go talk to mom, okay? Now we're stuck. So, again, thank you for what you've done in the past. It has improved our roads quite a bit over the years, but we still have roads that need to be fixed. We still have roads that are dangerous. We still have residents that have been waiting and waiting and waiting for their road to be fixed. And we keep saying, okay, next year, and then suddenly we can't do it. Again, thank you, and please, I know you've been talking to the city in the past, but we need to do something so that these subdivisions aren't just left with no one to talk to. Or, the city on its own has to come up with its own resources to deal with these roads. They haven't been doing road repair, and suddenly now they're in the road repair business. Whatever we can do to help facilitate that, we're glad to help. We're still glad to put our own money into our roads to get them up to spec so they can be taken over by local government. So,
We will work on that.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Faber, last name Faber?
Yeah. First name is Rowan, R-H-O-A-N. I'm with the Impala Woods subdivision, I'm with the POA. And I have a couple questions. So I've been told by the city that back when Lavelle was part of the mayor, when he brought Impala Woods into the city limits, there was a sign deal that the roads were not a part of the take-on part. That it's always been county, and then of course county's always said that our roads are not up to spec. So this year we spent, we implemented last year a road fee. We spent $86,000 on Gazelle and brought it up to code. And so my hopes was to meet with Mark and have him look at the road and approve and start maintaining, because our subdivision chases its tail. We get a road done, but then we move on to other roads, and if it's not maintained, then it slowly dilapidates, and we come back and we're back in the same vicious circle. So my question would be, a couple of things. One, our bridge washed out in our subdivision, and so we spent $36,000 redoing the bridge out of our pocket. Is that something that the county, as far as Impala Woods is concerned, with the city saying that they have a signed agreement that they will not maintain our roads, how do we proceed forward?
And we will work on that as a transition plan that includes everybody, so
Okay.
that we're going and looking at it section by section, piece
Okay.
by piece. I will tell all of you all this, we received some notification, and FEMA is going to have a speakers bureau, because evidently there is funding available for private property
And
owners.
we've
And-
applied for that, trying to get something,
Yes.
because our bulkhead got washed out. We're struggling.
Yes, sir, and well, you saying the bridge is what triggered
Yes,
it
the
for me.
bridge too, that's,
And
yeah.
so that
We actually had
evidently,
two bridges that
yes,
washed
so
out.
that evidently there is funding available through FEMA.
Mhm.
And so we share that information with the cities, so that's available, from your cities. And we will get together a speakers bureau, and I would encourage everyone that is a POA president to attend that speakers bureau to get further information about that.
I'll make sure I'm there. So going forward though, how will I get information knowing who I'm going to from this point? Like, once you guys sit down
We
and
will put a
dictate subdivision?
calendar, we'll have a calendar with the city, and we will sit down and make a plan on exactly what that transition plan will look like.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Eddie? Sandy Ridge Drive?
Can I speak from here?
If you can speak loudly, so the microphones pick you up as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm from Sandy Ridge subdivision, and I'm just here for myself in my neighborhood. That they fixed the side roads in our neighborhood, but they didn't fix the main road. And when you drive down it now, you have to zigzag all over because we have such huge potholes. And there's no way, the dump trucks come in there, school buses come in there, and everybody comes in there on the main road. And, I used to ask all the time when they was fixing the side roads, when were they gonna fix the main road? And they always told me they didn't know. But my address for me is Livingston, but if you have a P.O. box, you're on Alaska. So I don't know exactly who I belong to.
Well, if you live in Livingston, you belong to the city of Livingston.
I know I pay taxes in both places. I can't vote for mayor in Alaska or Livingston, either way.
So if you live inside the city limits of Livingston, you belong to the city of Livingston.
Okay.
If you live in the unincorporated areas, but you have Livingston zip code, then you belong to the county.
Okay, I
And your
guess I
property
belong to the
inside
county.
the city limits of Onalaska belongs to Onalaska.
Okay, I'm county now. Well, who fixes our roads?
Sounds like you have 3 memberships.
Everybody gets my money. and I don't
Everybody,
get-
yes, ma'am. If you're in the unincorporated areas of precinct 2, then you need to speak to Commissioner Dubose.
Okay. Well, when they fix those roads, why didn't they fix the main road? Cause that's where everybody travels,
I
on the
don't,
main road. They call it the high road, cause you come up off of 190 on the high road. And so now everybody's trying to use the low road, and it's hard to get out on 190 because of the traffic. You have a better chance on the high road, so.
so I would encourage you to make an appointment or go by and visit with Commissioner Dubose and explain the high road and the low road.
Okay, okay. Well, where does our money go that we pay into the county? What do they do with the money?
And that goes to maintain all the roads that are in the unincorporated areas of the county.
So who, do I talk to him about when they gonna fix that road?
Yes, ma'am.
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mary Baranowski.
Robert Baranowski.
Robert Baranowski. Sorry.
I'm speaking for myself. All right, after the flood, before the hurricane, my road got washed out. There was a 6-foot hole in it. They came and patched the hole. And I showed the foreman what happened in my driveway because the grader came down there and destroyed my driveway. He knows about it. He's seen it. And he gonna cry at me, well, Robert, what do you want me to do? He destroyed my driveway.
Okay, Mr. Baranowski, this has to do with the city of Onalaska?
No, I'm speaking from
Precinct
4.
Okay,
So I got a different meeting to go to?
you are more than welcome to make an appointment to visit with the Commissioner of Precinct 4.
I've already had a meeting with him. He walked off crying.
Okay, I would suggest that you make an appointment at his office and go visit with him.
How about if I have a meeting with all y'all separate? I'd like to do it now.
No, sir. This is a hearing for the city of Onalaska. If you wish to make an appointment to go visit with everybody
Well, I
at this
called
table.
I called his office and asked, when's the commissioner meeting? They told me today. First, I talked to you also on the phone.
Yes, sir, you did.
In fact, I told you how about if I take my equipment to his house and destroy his property.
So, Mr. Baranowski, this is not the appropriate time.
So where's the time and place?
You make an appointment with.
When can we meet?
I'd meet tomorrow afternoon. I'd meet this afternoon,
Give me a time and place.
2 o'clock. In my office.
Thank you, Mr. Baranowski.
So be it.
Okay, let's see. I think that's it. Nina McAfee already spoke. Any public comment?
Can I clarify a statement I made?
Absolutely.
Okay, I just want to make sure that the entire Commissioners Court understands that Yopon Cove is in an unincorporated area. And none of the Bridgeland people stab me in the back as I stand here. But
Okay, you're gonna have to speak up, Nina.
as a person in an unincorporated part of the county, we support abandoning the roads so that the money the county is currently spending on the roads the city should be spending money on can be spent on the county roads that they are not able to fund.
And we will take that under consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
You're good.
I'm good.
Does anyone on the comment?
I would just like to say one thing. I mean, I've listened, and I appreciate all of y'all coming and everything. But every dime that y'all pay in taxes don't go to the road and bridge. And I think y'all are, I'm hearing that y'all up there saying that, well, we don't get every dime. You know, every dime y'all pay in taxes doesn't come to the road and bridge. You know, you get sheriff's department, you know, schools down.
The clerk's offices, the
Clerk's office,
judicial.
the indigent care and all of that come out of the county tax. We get a portion of
Can I clarify one thing?
it. Yes, ma'am.
We just want to be sure that there's a plan in place before you vote for this, so we're not stuck. in
We're
the middle.
moving,
Yes,
we're
ma'am. Yes,
moving
ma'am.
forward with the order, okay? Because that will allow us to then start transitioning with the city. And we will transition over to the city, and there will be a plan in place, and there will be a calendar, and we will sit down with the city and agree to deadlines, et cetera, et cetera.
And those deadlines will be posted,
What's that?
the deadlines will be posted to the public.
If Angie's in agreement, and Kathy, and all the other city council,
I just
yeah.
asked if the deadlines would be posted. She said that there would be deadlines set in play for the transition. I was just asking if they would be posted so where people see when the transition.
Again, getting forced to take all these private roads in at one time is gonna take some calculated thought. The city has no means to do this. Our current situation, I will use one subdivision on Alaska East. I've been trying to get work done for months, and I can't, we're not getting anywhere. Partly due to the storms, the rain, the hurricane. I'm not saying there's no reasons why, but we have no time frame. I constantly ask for, hey, where are we at on this? Where are we at on that? So even the jobs that we have, so we're gonna have to look at outsourcing or finding other ways or requesting proposals for someone to come in and do it, doing our own, figuring out a way to get our own equipment in. I have had visitation with, on the phone with Corrigan, because they have some really good ideas and they operate, there's some things that I really like about their plan. Talk to him about their maintenance department, what does it entail, what equipment do you have? The thoughts are there, we want to support our citizens, we want to help you, and most of these subdivisions are willing to put money into it, and I think between the county and the city, we will come up with a resolution, but it's not gonna
It's
happen
not gonna
today.
be, it is not going to be instantaneous. Okay, the equipment's not gonna show up tomorrow in every single subdivision. Okay, it's not going to be instantaneous. It's going to be a transition. This is simply the first step on moving forward. That the authority must be established between the city and the county. And then we have to figure out how much mileage of this one, and how much mileage of that one, how are we going to transition? So this is going to be a long period, okay?
Let me ask, you know, over the years, the counties, the different commissioners have been buying equipment and everything. A lot of this money that we have paid and everything over the years has helped buy precinct 2 equipment and everything out there. They bought a lot of used equipment. Every now and then they buy new stuff.
And we are going to transition, it's gonna take a long time, Mr. Cruz. It's not going to be instantaneous.
Okay, the county taxes are a certain amount, and then the city taxes, which has just been instituted in the last couple of
Yes,
years.
yes, sir.
It's low right now. The first thing you know, what y'all gonna be saying is, well, the city's gonna have to jump theirs up to 1.62 or something like that.
We are going to transition it over, it's going to be a slow process. It's going to take a while to get it done. We will do the best we can. Yes, ma'am?
One last question. Some of the other cities that are in Polk County, are they doing the same thing that we are? Or
We do not have another single city that has county roads inside the city limits.
But
And that's
the
part
reason
of-
for that was the commissioners took those.
Yes, sir, and I'm gonna close it down. Mike, do you have anything you wanna add? Have I given them any incorrect legal information?
No, hey there, my name's Michael Matthews, I was a prosecutor for a while. I've continued to do a lot of the local government work for the Commissioners Court, by contract. The correct legal term is abandonment. It sounds terrible, but all that means is the county's maintenance of it is going to cease. However, interlocal agreements, MOUs, things helping each other out, county helping city out, that stuff's not gonna stop, okay? It's just because, you know, let's say it was illegal, but 40 years ago, everybody was like taking one of these, nobody cared. Well, now we find out it's illegal, and you come to take one, they go, well, you can't do that anymore, right? So when the old commissioner was taking the county, you know, the city roads and maintaining them and all that stuff, that wasn't legal. It can't continue.
Why is that not grandfathered in like everything else in Texas government?
I don't know, it's just not.
Okay, so we're gonna close the hearing. Thank you, Mike.
Ask just one question.
Yes, ma'am, but
That you can maybe.
you didn't sign up and technically I'm supposed to follow that, so go ahead.
If all this happens, how does the process really supposed to work? The city has to have their own equipment and the city does the work? The city works with you?
Ma'am,
and
we're
does
gonna
the work?
start out working with us, and then what the city decides to do is up to the city and the city council. Again, we cannot infringe and on the city or even dictate to the city what they can or cannot do within the city limits. So it's going to be a transition period. And yes, we are going to do everything we can to make it as smooth as possible to move forward. I don't know anything about cities, I don't know anything about it, nobody up here does, we are not city. If she's been in communication with Corrigan, then we can figure something out.
I can tell y'all how it works between us, precinct 3 and the city of Corrigan and the city of Seven Oaks. I have an MOU or interlocal agreement with them. We can provide labor and equipment at their request, and they provide the materials, and we help them with their roads. But that's the city comes to me, it's not anybody, you know, but I work with the city, and that's the way we do it.
That's
It's gonna be between.
And that is very common practice, that they belong
I don't know
to
if that helps y'all
the
in here or
Yes.
not, but.
Okay, the hearing is closed, and so at this time, the court needs to discuss, consider approval of an order abandoning maintenance, and I know that's a harsh word, okay, transitioning maintenance, I guess I should say, of county roads within the city limits of Onalaska. And again, this will take a transition period, it is not going to happen tomorrow. This is simply moving forward. Any discussion?
So basically basically what's saying, is kind of work, you're gonna work a deal kind of like what we're talking about.
Yes.
Keep helping, where they're not hung on their own, till you slowly just give it off to the city, it's a slow process.
Yeah, y'all have the same thing.
The same thing happens in the city of Goodrich.
You're not gonna be dropped off the cliff.
He's not doing the work right now, that's the problem.
Okay, I need a motion. Commissioner Dugas?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve the order. I need a second.
He should excuse himself.
No, sir, he can't. He's your
He should.
commissioner. Do I have a second? I need a second.
Second.
Commissioner Purvis, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. At this time, because we have asked Mike Matthews to be present, we are going to go ahead and skip over to item number 15. I think it's 15. Where's your executive session, Mike? 15. It's 15. Okay, we're gonna move over to item number 15, and we are going to go into executive session to discuss and consider any and all necessary action relating to volunteer fire department funding. So if we could have, the only person we need to have remain here will be Mr. Matthews and, Mr. Fugate. As soon as executive session is over, we'll come back in. What time did we? I'm not in executive session.
When y'all get through with executive session, will somebody come out here and let us know?
Yes,
We buy the long hair guy back.
Oh, good. He's flying home with you? I knew I thought it looked just
Hey, Mr. Cassidy, we gotta get this meeting done so you can.
You what now?
We have to get this meeting done so you can adjourn.
Yeah. Thank you, Louis. Real friend, buddy.
I'm giving it Actually, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all.
And the reason I did that
I'll be in trouble too.
We get that on film?
Don't you worry, I'll be in trouble till 2 o'clock.
That's all
Couple hours. I declare
The resignation.
Okay, do we have all members of the court here? Okay, discuss and consider any and all necessary action relating to volunteer fire department funding. We are moving forward with the contracts for all the volunteer fire departments as stated. The proposal is to adjust the volunteer fire department territories and assign portions of Goodrich territory to other areas. Does there need to be any discussion on that? Okay, I need a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Commissioner Cassidy, second Commissioner Dubus. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Figure out where I was. Okay, item number 6, old business, tabled from last meeting. Approve the minutes of the previous meeting, July 11th, 2024, regular session, which was rescheduled from July 9th.
So moved.
Commissioner Purvis, Commissioner Robertson, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, new business, you have your consent agenda. You have addendums on B, addendum number 1, in the amount of $737,193.96. Addendum number 2, in the amount of $1,452,949.53. Is there anything on the consent agenda that anybody wishes to pull?
So moved.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Purvis, second Commissioner Cassidy. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, consider approval of personnel matters as follows. A, review and consideration of personnel action form requests submitted by department heads since the last meeting, a review of any authorized emergency hiring. We have 3 emergency hires, 1 in HR, 1 in emergency management, and 1 in maintenance. Need a motion to approve.
Motion.
Commissioner Robertson, second Commissioner Dubus. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 8B, consider appointment of Jay Deal to the vacant position of Polk County Extension Agent, Agriculture and Natural Resources, as candidate recommended by the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Office. A copy of the AgriLife Extension letter from District Administrator Sheila Harris is included in your packet for your review. And there's Sheila.
Yes, good morning, Court. Good morning.
How
Yes,
you doing?
I'm doing well. So this morning, it is my pleasure to introduce Jay Deal as our candidate for the vacant Ag and Natural Resource position that was previously held by Matthew March. So just a little bit about Jay. Jay graduated from Texas Tech University in August of 2020 with a Bachelor's of Science degree in Agricultural Leadership. He previously has been employed by MP Brangus as a ranch manager and herdsman. We present Jay today. He and his wife have been looking at some property already here in Polk County and will be, if approved, be moving here to the county. If approved, his start date will be September 1st. So for the first month, when we hire a new employee, they'll go straight to College Station to Discover Extension for what we call new agent orientation. And then he will first step in Angelina County. So for that first month, the state will pay his travel and his salary. So then he'll start over here officially on October the 1st.
Perfect. Well, good, Jay.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome to the team. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
Good.
We appreciate everything, appreciate you being involved in the interviews, we appreciate all your support with the whole AgriLife Extension Office here in Polk County.
No much, man. We appreciate y'all.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
It's a benefit for us and the people in the county. We really appreciate it. We're glad to have you.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, Jill. And if we can, if any of us can do anything, Jay, then let us know.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Purvis, is that coming as a motion?
The motion is.
I'll second. Commissioner Purvis, Commissioner Robertson, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. You're officially hired.
All right, thank you.
Woo-hoo. Okay, item number 9, consider request for revisions and amendments to the budget as follows. The FY 2024 budget revisions and amendments is presented by the County Auditor's Office. A copy of the proposed revisions, number 2024-18, and amendments 2024-18A is included for your review. I need a motion.
So moved.
Commissioner Cassidy, Commissioner Purvis, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10, discuss and consider approval of sheriff's and constable fees effective January 1, 2025, and direct notification to state comptroller pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 118.131. It's included for your review as a copy of the correspondence from the state comptroller regarding this process. This information was provided to the sheriff and constables on June 13th. Requesting comments regarding any needed changes or updates for the court's consideration no later than July 31st. The sheriff's office has requested no changes, and so we are required to set these fees no later than October 1st. I need a motion.
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Purvis, Commissioner Cassidy, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 11. Discuss and consider approval of memorandum of agreement with Burke Center for Mental Health Deputy Program. On December 22nd, the court approved the Burke Center's application on behalf of Polk County for a mental health grant to be funded with asset forfeiture funds for the required 25% match. The agreement included for your service will be for your review will be for June 1, 2024 to August 31st, 2025. Polk County will receive monthly installments up to $11,906.25, which includes certification, salary, fringe, fuel, and equipment expenditures for mental health deputies. This state grant requires a 25% grant, which the sheriff intends to supply the provision of vehicle and equipment, so it's 25% in kind, with any necessary purchases coming from his asset forfeiture fund. The plan for implementing the program is to have 4 of his deputies certified as mental health deputies, 1 for each shift, and they will receive a stipend similar to the certificate pay for having the certification and performing those essential duties. This agreement has been reviewed and approved by legal counsel. We did reach out to the comptroller's office to verify if there are any consequences for applying for both the rural law enforcement grant funds and the mental health deputy grant funds for the same officer. We don't think that there will be any issues, but at this time, I would like approval from the court for it to be contingent upon a response from the comptroller. I don't see the comptroller being opposed, given the fact that every single rural county in the state of Texas made applications for SB 22. But if there's some kind of glitch in there, then we want to make sure that we don't forfeit the funds that the sheriff's office would like to take advantage of.
So make the motion.
Very well, Commissioner Robertson, Commissioner Purvis, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And Sheriff, we will move forward with it, but we're gonna stay in communication with the comptroller, to try to get something in writing that says, go ahead. Item number 12, discuss and consider any and all necessary action regarding approval to advertise a request for bids, number 2024-22, for restoration of Creek Bank on Kimball Creek at County Line Road in Precinct 4, to be funded from Precinct 4 operations budget. This is Commissioner Cassidy's request, and Nicole Reeks has provided a bid packet which is included for your review. With approval of this agenda item, the request for bids will be advertised with a deadline of September 4th, and bids received will be reviewed by the court on September 10th.
This is one of our last major projects to do a contract now, because it just worked a lot better that way. We're just trying to get it done.
Sounds good.
So moved.
There's a motion from Commissioner Cassidy, second by Commissioner Dubose. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13, consider request for purchase of audio-video equipment and software for the Emergency Operations Center as included on the FY 2024 capital purchase projection. Courtney Consta, Shauna Reuter, Nicole Reeks, and Mike Ainsworth reviewed the proposals received through our purchasing cooperatives, and it's included for your review. Courtney, the amount allotted was $150,000. What was the final amount for the audio-video equipment?
Nicole has the.
Okay. So $134,000.
And some change, yes, I have it.
There were a couple of options, but the one that we're recommending was $134,260.29.
And that is with data projections.
It is with data projections. It includes a 3-year maintenance agreement with them and a little bit of contingency funds in case we run into something unforeseen.
Very well. Need a motion? I'll make a motion. Commissioner Robertson? Second. We don't wanna go to lunch, or you want to say? Commissioner Purvis, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 14, budget workshop. Okay, let's start with A. Consider approval of proposed lease rate quotes to be included in the FY 2025 budget. On April 23rd, the court reviewed the request for vehicles to be added to the Enterprise Fleet Program in FY 2025, and we've included funding in the budget for an investigator vehicle for the district attorney, and a van and a truck for maintenance, and so the totals are there. 2025 Ford Explorer with lights, siren, and radio at an annual estimated cost of $14,955.60. Maintenance, a Ram 1500 at an annual estimated cost of $8,965.80, that's a 5-year term. The maintenance Chevy Express 2500 at an annual estimated cost of $10,248.96, that's a 5-year term. For a total increase cost to our lease payments line item of $34,170.36. This is built already into the budget proposal. And we wanna do it now because we wanna benefit from government incentives and before manufacturers close their order banks. That way we will have them expedited to the county. If there was some discussion of potential road and bridge additions, since those come out of y'all's own funds, then certainly get that to us if you want it to be included. And I need a motion to approve that. Commissioner Cassidy, second? Second. Commissioner Robertson, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item B, 14B, consider approval to publish the proposed increases in salaries, allowances, and other expenses of elected county and precinct officers. We've reached our deadline to publish the proposed salaries, which must be included in the Enterprise's August 15th edition. A copy of the proposed notice is included for your review. The proposed salaries are in alignment with the tax salary survey for counties relative to our size and budget, ensuring that our compensation structure remains fair and competitive. Following the receipt of a grievance letter from the 4 justices of the peace requesting an increase from the proposed salary of $59,000 to $65,000, and an increase from the proposed vehicle allowance of $5,000 to $10,000, the commissioner selected a grievance committee, and a hearing was held on Monday, August the 5th. 8 members of the committee were in attendance, and the recommendation given are as follows. For a salary increase, 2 members recommended increasing the salary to $65,000. 1 member recommended an increase but did not specify an amount, and 5 members recommended no increase. On the travel allowance, 1 member recommended increasing the travel allowance to $7,500. 1 member recommended increasing it to $10,000. 2 members recommended an increase but did not specify an amount, and 4 members recommended no increase. So there's no specifics. The proposed salary and travel allowance was voted on July 23rd meeting, remain in place unless the court wishes to do something different. What is the court's pleasure?
Well, I have something to say here. When you break it down the way it's broke down in here, it is correct the way it reads. But it's misleading, because out of 8 members there, 5 of them voted for it, 3 against. That's about 63% for and about 37% against.
Which one are we
Would you
talking
just
about?
include travel or salary, either one? They voted for one or the other. So 5 people voted for it, 3 against. And I'm gonna make a motion, they get $65,000 along with the rest of elected leaders.
Okay, you need to separate those out, so the salary increase,
Why do I need to separate it?
because that's 2 separate items.
Okay.
Just like your travel allowance is separate from your salary, then that's 2 separate things. And so you can make a recommendation to increase their salary if you want to. But those are the numbers that are true to that, and it was given to them separately. Okay, the members voted on salary and they voted on travel.
Yeah, but it still comes down to 5 of the people voted.
For an increase in
So I'll-
salary, that is correct.
I'll make a motion for salary increase.
Okay.
To 65,000. No increase in travel.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Very well, so you have a motion and a second to increase the salary to 65,000. Commissioner Cassidy, Commissioner Dubus. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion does not pass. Do you wish to treat the travel separately?
No, I think 5,000 is fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. As long as they have a problem with it.
Okay, so you.
Picking out.
Okay, so you
I'm
wanna make a
outvoted, so
motion?
I'll live with it.
Okay, so do you wanna make a motion not to do anything with travel allowance?
Let me ask you, is it, and this may not be the appropriate, like, to get them a vehicle to use during the?
At this point in time, no.
Okay.
At this point in time, no.
Next budget,
The-
yes.
Yeah, the budget, the salaries and travel has been publicized.
Okay.
And that was what generated, right?
Exactly.
And so no, we cannot move this yet. Okay, so on the travel allowance, since we voted on the salary increase, we need to address the travel allowance as well. So no motion, no change?
I'll make a motion to increase it to 7,500.
Okay. Does anybody wish to second that?
I'll second.
Okay, so Cassidy Dubos to increase the travel allowance to 7,500. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion does not pass.
Can I ask for an explanation?
No, ma'am, no, ma'am, it's a decision by the court.
Thank you.
Okay,
I
you can go
whatever.
visit with them later.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to visit with them later.
Thank you.
That's not a problem. Okay, item C, review the FY 2025 proposed budget. Okay, what we are presenting to you, good grief, I went and got it and then I left it somewhere else. What we are proposing to you has narrowed down the scope. Let me go to my budget book. I went and got it twice. Okay, we've narrowed it down to one proposal. So let me start with, some of the explanations, some of the key points. We met with the sheriff's office and discussed the options for making the 207K employees whole while minimizing the amount of time accrued. There's been multiple issues that have occurred. One, the 207K, by definition, is supposed to be 80 to 86 hours. Now, part of what has happened is that some of these individuals are scheduled automatically for 84 hours. So part of what we did was we went in, so the salary compensation, all full-time employees are compensated with an annual salary. The hourly rate on the current 200 level pay scale is based on 2,080 hours for all employees. With the recent policy change that non-exempt employees are no longer accruing equivalent comp straight time, this means that the 207K employees are no longer accruing hours worked between 80 and 86 per pay period, okay? So the proposed pay scale for the 200 level employees, which is attached, is based on 2,184 hours per year, which is scheduling in the 84-hour pay period. Still, the 207K stands that it will be 80 to 86. In some counties, they remove an hour and say that's for lunch, you know, or 30 minutes or whatever. I visited extensively with Hardin County, who Andy and them were interested in looking at some of their information. When I spoke to that county judge, he said they pay straight. If the person goes home after 80 hours, good for them. If they go home at 86 hours, okay. But either way, they are compensated the same regardless. Now, the sheriff has been very, very diligent in trying to ensure that people are working the hours that they are being paid. So we've discussed this with him. So this new pay scale includes the additional $1,400 per year that we proposed for one of our budgets for 200 level employees. It also has an adjustment for 12-hour shift employees. So current employees who are regularly scheduled for 12-hour shifts will receive a one-step pay increase, which will be included on updated PAF listing for the court. The funds are available in the sheriff's office and in the jail discretionary line items, along with some surplus remaining for them. Starting the new fiscal year, the proposed budget includes funds for all 200 level employees to receive the $1,400 increase in their annual salary. So the whole pay scale will be moved up by the $1,400. The hourly rate comparison, comparing the current and proposed hourly pay schedules, which is attached, shows that the difference in hourly rates for any group or step currently filled is within pennies of the hourly rate for one step higher in the proposed schedule. So, effective October 1, employees that are scheduled for 84 hours per pay period will receive annual compensation equal to or better than their current hourly rate multiplied by the 2,184 hours. Okay, the policy for 40-hour-a-week employees in the sheriff and the jail. Employees scheduled for 40 hours per week will not receive the one-step increase, but will be compensated with straight time for hours worked between 80 and 86 if their supervisor requires it. So this includes detectives, CID, and other various positions. So we will continue to collaborate with the sheriff to clearly define which employees he intends to work for the 80 hours per pay period and which ones may work 86 hours to ensure that the policy is written correctly. Because after we do this, then we have to back it up with policy. And then moving forward with your 207Ks, all new hires will have a clear understanding that their annual salary covers their specific work schedule, which is 80 to 86 hours bi-weekly. Now, here's another issue that the jail especially has, and that's holiday time. When you're short-staffed and you're having to schedule people to work holidays when technically they should not have been scheduled for that, then our recommendation is that holidays worked, rather than being accrued for a later date, that they get paid. So employees that are scheduled to work on a holiday will get paid their hourly rate for hours worked on a holiday in addition to their normal wages. That way, they're not accruing holiday time that they may never get an opportunity to use, and they will be paid, they will be given additional compensation for working during if they're scheduled. We don't all want a bunch of volunteers working on the holiday, but if they are scheduled, then they will be compensated. And that will ensure that those employees that are unable to take off on holiday time earned do not lose the benefit of a county holiday and will be compensated for having to work on that holiday. Did I catch it all, Andy?
Yes, ma'am.
That was our discussion. So, this plan for making the 207K employees whole will only work with proposal 2. And so that is currently what's in the proposed budget. So now let's go through the budget, see if there are any questions. And you did have current and proposed pay scales included for your review in your package. Okay, so the proposed budget. Okay, this is the final proposal. It balances the 207Ks. It gives the 100 level employees a $3,000 increase. And it gives the 200 level employees a $1,400 increase. And it still allows us to have some discretionary funds for department heads and elected officials. So if you go to your first page, there's no changes. That's a review. This is the same information you saw last time. Second page, same thing. You still see that the balance reflects a little over $1 million increase to Road and Bridge. No change from the last time. The third page, which is your capital purchase projection, the following information that is listed represents your capital purchase request that we received from departments and included in the 2025 budget. Each purchase will still require specific approval by Commissioners Court, and we will move forward without issuing any tax notes. So we will not incur debt for capital purchase projections. Okay, and then all the financial information, the projected date is August the 14th, 2024. Go to our debt schedule. Again, no change from what you saw last time. And then Road and Bridge portion of debt, still no change at this time. And so now, let's skip over to page 9. Page 9 of 129. The discretionary salary pool, which is a 1401-1095 towards the bottom. You'll see that the discretionary salary pool, we had a little over 56,000 in there. You will see now that it's a 0. Those are funds that were returned, and so we have now distributed them to departments and elected officials. So everybody gets the increases and then a bump with your discretionary monies. If you turn the page, on contingencies, towards the top of the page, 1401-3520. That amount has increased at the request of the jail and Serenity House. We're going from 600 hours of services to 900 hours of services. And we received information that there has been a decrease in terms of inmate on inmate assaults, inmates on staff assaults, just generally doing better. We also reviewed the information from Serenity House about the number of inmates that they were seeing, and any follow-up documentation. And so that pilot program appears to be working. So congratulations to the jail staff and to the sheriff's office for a good program. And that change is also reflected on page 23. Then we have, on page 11, we have some department head discretionary funds. And that, we did that consistent with other departments and other elected officials. And then, the last thing I have is on page 23. If you look, you will see that we have the Serenity House at the very bottom, Serenity House Counseling and Jail Mental Health. And so that has increased. And then another thing you will note is we have our fire department, which included a 10%, and that's the same as it was last time, but I don't think we discussed it. It increases our contribution to volunteer fire departments 10%. And then how that distribution occurs will depend on the territory that they are responsible for. Contracts will be renewed. Are there any questions?
Yeah, let's go back to the, this is 207 still's got my mind just all mixed up.
Okay.
So, like the holiday time and stuff like that, so like if somebody works.
If they are scheduled.
If they are scheduled to work, they get the holiday time.
No, they get paid.
I mean, they get paid. So if somebody's off,
Then they accrue the holiday.
they accrue the holiday time.
Nobody's holiday goes away. But if they
So
are
that's basically
scheduled
the
to
same
work.
as like it used to always has been, right?
No, sir.
You
Used
get
to-
paid double time for
Yes,
working
you're
holiday.
gonna get paid double time for working holidays, if you're scheduled to work. Or, you know, if somebody says, hey, I don't wanna work, and someone else says, I will take that spot, that's up to the sheriff, the jail, however they wish to deal with that. But if they are scheduled, then they will get paid double.
And then if it falls on their days off, they still get the holiday.
They still get the holiday.
And then, of course, these IR things, they always get me and stuff, but, so with the IRs, like the 80 to 86 or whatever, stuff like that, or 84 IRs or whatever.
By definition, that's the 207K.
Right.
Okay, that they work 80 to 86 hours. So, but the issue is that we have some staff members that are regularly scheduled to work 84 hours. So they're never gonna get to fall in the 80 mark, right? So we adjusted those salaries to reflect that.
So every IR that they work, whichever department it is, whoever, you know, so if they work over, whether it's 1 hour or whatever, they're gonna get credit.
If they are in the 80 to 86, then after the 86, they will. If they are in the 80, then after the 80, they will. But either way, the staff, the people in charge are gonna keep up with it and maintain those records. If you have someone that's consistently, if we have a department head that is consistently working more hours than they should, well then you need to look at, why are they working that many hours, right? Because they should be compensated for them.
Well, they should be compensated anything.
Correct, but by definition, the 207K, this is what the 207K does. It provides flexibility in scheduling for all of them, okay? It guarantees, I mean, technically, if they send someone home at 80 hours, then technically we're paying them for 84, okay? They don't have to take an hour out of their day and count it as lunch, even if they go eat lunch. See, so it creates flexibility for the the employee, it creates flexibility for the sheriff and the jail. Okay, cause the other thing too is it's bi-weekly. So what happens with bi-weekly is if I work, right, if I work the whole week and I go over in my time, say I work an additional 2 hours overtime for 5 days that week, then I have accrued or accumulated 10 hours, right? So then that next week, those 10 hours are gonna carry over. So if something comes up and I don't wanna work Friday and I've already made arrangements with my supervisor, I'm still gonna get my whole paycheck. See, a 40-hour week person, if they don't work the full 40 hours, if they only work 32 hours, they're gonna get docked. They don't have that degree of flexibility at all, because they are on a weekly pay schedule. So the 207K is it's good for the sheriff's office, it's good for the employee, it's especially good for the supervisors, because that allows them to jiggle and wiggle. And so we are technically paying for 84 hours because we know.
Well, I know there's a lot of training on that stuff too, so has Barn and them have been properly trained on all that stuff? Yeah, on the 207 and all that stuff?
We've read just about everything that we can read on it. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, more or less. I mean, I just wanna make sure, cause I know before there was problems with it and stuff.
Well, we're
And
trying
they
to
said something
figure
that
those
it would
out.
work with properly being trained in it, so, I mean, as long as we're properly being trained in it, if it works, you know.
All the documents I sent you from the Department of Labor, I've read over all of that, so.
We're all being baptized in fire. From the sheriff all the way across the board, we've been baptized in fire, we're 207K.
One other question I have, more or less, is the $1,400 increase, and you said there's discretionary funds,
Yes.
do we know how much the discretionary funds are?
That's already distributed amongst the department heads and elected officials for the discretionary funds. The total was 56,000. So by the time you split that up, then, you know, some of the larger departments are gonna get slightly more, and the smaller departments are gonna get slightly less. We need to publish this, so I need a motion.
Carrie's got a.
What you got?
We didn't get a motion to publish the notice for elected officials.
Oh, well then we will back up and do that. Okay, so we just voted on the two, but we did not. Okay, so I need, a motion to move forward with publishing the salaries, as we voted on them. Commissioner Cassidy, Commissioner Purvis, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I even wrote myself a note, carry to vote. Okay, and now I need, a motion to, move forward with the budget. Motion to approve the budget, Commissioner Robertson, the proposed budget. Okay, so I have a motion, Commissioner Robertson, do I have a second? Commissioner Purvis, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Commissioner Purvis?
Second.
Purvis
I got
Cassidy,
me.
all in favor say aye.
Where's that money?
What time is it?